How to get a girl to think about you non-stop. This is a very powerful one. A lot of people like to call it building mystery or mystique. That's what a lot of I see women say that. They say, be yourself, be mysterious, don't tell her everything. It's not very good advice. And how do you do that? It's not really quantifiable. It's hard to figure out exactly what that even means. I've seen many videos, I did a bit of research and I was like, hang on, none of this really makes any sense. How am I supposed to build this mystery? And I'm sure some of you guys have heard of Mystery, the man. He had the name right, I'm not sure about the other strategies behind it. But mystery, building mystery, well, how do you do it? Well, what I've done is I've broken it down into 4 things. And this does not include when you have first met the girl. So if you're in the courting stage, you've met her, whatever way you've met her, you're in the courting stage, you're still dating and it's not really a relationship, you're still on the edge with her, these are not going to work. But you can build the foundation for this in the early stage. But these 4 things are more important when you have kind of started the relationship, you're into a relationship. Okay, so I've broken down the 4 things. Before we kick it off, I'm Dave and this channel is dedicated to giving you no bullshit novel dating advice from a modern man. My book's in the description and you can fill out the form in the description and get some one-on-one coaching with me. So, how to get a girl to think about you non-stop? Well, number 1 is ambition. I've said this before, ambition is one of the most important things a man can have. And it's not just having potential. You can be 18 years old and have all the potential in the world, but you're not ambitious. You're just playing video games and doing nothing. And there's nothing exciting about you. You're just sitting at home, masturbating, playing video games. That's not going to attract hardly any girls unless she's a gamer girl herself. And then, well, she's probably got all these other gamer guys chasing her, and why would she want you? Because you're not really differentiating yourself. Ambition. You're going somewhere. You've got something to do. You're always driving towards a goal, and you have one man's life mission. Now, ambition is also an excuse. So I also use this as an excuse. So as an ambitious man, I have things to do, so I cannot see her all the time. You're not deliberately ghosting her for a week just to try and build mystery. She actually knows you have something to do. She knows you're aiming for a goal that is quite lofty, you're ambitious, and that's why you have a legitimate reason not to see her. You actually want to see her, but you are busy. You have things going on. You've got a goal and you can project that even off the first date. You can actually project that off the first date. And once you start dating the girl, that lofty goal, that ambition stays. And then it continues to be an excuse for you to disappear for a few days. Whether you need that, whether you actually are ambitious, or you're just ghosting her to use this as a strategy, whatever. She needs to understand that you have a reason for disappearing, and that will be the first 25% of building mystery. Without the other 3 parts, this is not going to work. So the second one is you always let her know when you're doing something. She knows that you're always busy, but just say, for instance, you finish work at 5 o'clock and you haven't spoken to her for 24 hours. That's when you message her and say, hey, I just finished work, I've got all these other things going on. And then boom, straight into her, start asking about her. But you see, you're always letting her know that you're always fitting in that little bit of time to get back to her. And it builds this in her. It's almost like a friction. She's frustrated, she's a little bit annoyed at you, and she understands because you're constantly explaining yourself. And she's like, I should leave him. I'm gonna leave this guy. He's too busy. But she can't let go of you. That's the magic. She's like, but I can't let go of him. I can't do this. And then next thing you know, she wonders why she's obsessing about you. Next thing you know, it builds and it builds and it builds. And next thing you know, boom, she cannot stop thinking about you. And that's where in step 2, what you do is you build, and then you release the tension, and you make sure that you meet her straight after you've finished whatever you're doing. The general way will be Friday afternoon. You said you've had a massive week, and Friday at 5:30 you can meet her for a couple drinks, you go back to your place or whatever, and then you release the tension of the week of you being so busy, and then you make it all up to her and release all of that tension, and then you build it up again. So that's how you get her 50% of the way to thinking about you non-stop. But if you continue with that pattern, eventually she'll get pissed off and she will leave your ass. So that's where step 3 comes in. Step 3 is, I've broken this down methodically. Step 3 is you cannot be predictable. So for instance with me, during summer I picked up poker. As you can see, I played rugby, I've done some boxing, I've done some martial arts, probably more street fighting. You should read my book. I pick up new things all the time. If she wants to know what you're doing on the weekend, this coming weekend, oh, I'm going hiking. She's like, hang on, I didn't know you hiked. Or like recently I was been seeing a few girls and I said, oh, I'm writing a book. She's like, do you know how to write a book? I was like, no, I'm just writing a book now. I've never written a book before. So it's unpredictable. You are constantly trying new things, and that also goes back into you always being busy and trying to achieve something, and then that also feeds into you being ambitious. And also it's this feedback loop which also gives you an excuse to say, oh look, I can't meet up with you this Saturday or Sunday because I've got poker with the boys, I've got to go hiking with my other friend, I got some boxing training. I didn't know you hiked, I didn't know you played poker, I didn't know you were doing boxing training. Oh, it's all new, I'm always doing new things, I've got all these things that I need to achieve in life. And it gives you freedom. You might not be boxing. You might not be doing all these other things, but what it will be doing is you're unpredictable. You're constantly evolving. She cannot hammer you down put you into a box like most men. And I think most men you can put into a box. You don't want to be put into a box. And also on top of that, by trying new things, it makes your life more interesting for yourself. So don't just think about this as a technique to impress the ladies. Do this as a technique to improve your own life. Trying new things all the time is definitely good. I got a friend that just started doing Wim Hof. So he's running around in the winter with his t-shirt off to try and build up some sort of resistance. And he thinks that that's going to help with this virus going around at the moment. Or like me, I've started up a channel here. I'm talking about dating advice. So it's always trying new things. You're constantly evolving. In that way, you can never be predictable. Even if you break up a year later, she'll probably be thinking, what is this guy doing these days? You see? You see the feedback loop? And the fourth one, which ties it all together and makes it all this entire mysterious package, is once you meet, you lead. You choose the venue, you choose where to go, you choose the mode of transport, you choose where to walk, you lead. You're a man. Your job is to lead. Well, it depends on what type of women you're after. If you're a feminine man, there's probably a few not feminists, but feminine men that like to have this negotiation constantly with life, and you like to have a slow, boring life that holds you back because you never actually get too much done because everything's a negotiation. Or you're an efficient alpha male who leads. You take charge, you choose the venue, you choose where you're going, you choose how you get there, you choose when you're finishing, you choose all of those things. And if she wants to choose something in between, of course, you know, you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But generally, and it's not just across the board, you don't just say, no, 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 we're doing it my way, and be an aggressive prick. That's not the goal. You're not trying to be an aggressive prick. You just make decisions, and a lot of women would prefer you to sit back and let their man make decisions, especially if she's a feminine type of girl. She would rather you make the decisions rather than her. And that's often the best type of women to have, is the one that you make the decision, you tell her, and then only if it totally conflicts with everything she's doing and she cannot actually do what you are requesting, she'll tell you, then you totally understand. You're not a prick, you're not like demanding and like you're not the boss. It's more like you make the decisions and you lead, which is very, very important. For instance, I'm dating a girl at the moment that likes to go to the cinema, and late last year I went to the cinema with her. But I don't like the cinema, and so from now on I just say, look, I don't like the cinema for several reasons. It's overpriced. They charge you too much for all the food and stuff. I can't pause the cinema and go to the toilet midway through a 2-hour movie. There's all these things I don't like, and also I like to watch movies on my bed. And so I'm constantly like, no, no, no. She asked me, I want to go to the cinema. I'm like, can you just get it on Netflix, or can we get it online? And then we so I'm leading in that respect, and I'm kind of borderline breaking my own bossy rule, but I will go to the cinema with her sometimes, but most of the time I'm the boss, I'm making the decisions. You see where I'm going? There is a bit of a playoff there. You're not there to be really bossy and be really restrictive with her. If she wants to do it eventually, but you know, most of the time you have to lead and be in charge. And it does depend on the woman. It does depend on you too. If you want her to lead all the time, that's fine. You can let her lead. You can let her choose everything that you do in life. Then she'll get bored with you. And then after you have some kids, she'll end up sleeping with the mailman. And then later on, she'll take you for half your money because you're boring and you're not leading and you're not doing your job as a man. So if you like this video, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so don't miss out on anything. Want some one-on-one coaching with me? I talk about cold approach. I do focus on cold approach and meeting women. So the very beginning of the relationship, and as you can see, I talk about relationship topics as well. But I get excited from cold approach. That's the good stuff. That's the fun stuff. I talk about that, but I'm also happy to talk about relationships and dating and things like that. And fill out the form if you want to do some one-on-one coaching with me. I'll see you in the next video.